commissioners are present. Item 3, approval of minutes of the 10/14/2020 regular meeting. If I could have a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Movement, motion and a second. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Item 4, approval of police department bills. Assistant Chief Zeps.
Good morning. In front of you, you have two sets of bills. One was signed by Commissioner Earl on the 20th of October, and the other was signed by Commissioner Myers on the 4th of November. The only real item of note in there is a payment of $49,896, which is the third yearly payment for the purchase of our body camera system and our electronic control devices. Nothing else really appeared noteworthy. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions and would ask that you place them on file.
Pat, I just have one question on the body cameras. How are they working now? I know we had a little bit of an integration problem with it, at least initially. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, I usually judge that by how many I have to send back or how many problems I have. So I would be hesitant, but I'd probably use the word phenomenal right now. Very few problems, if any.
And everybody's using them?
Correct.
Yeah, good. Yeah. I think I knew the answer to that question, but I just wanted to make sure. So any other questions on the bills?
I move to approve, please.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gordy. Any other discussion? Peggy, roll call, please.
Earl,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Gershman.
Yes, thank you. Item 5, approval of fire department bills. Deputy Chief Floody.
Morning, everyone. You guys should have two sets of bills in front of you, one signed by Commissioner Earl on October 19th and one signed by Commissioner Keel on November 3rd. And we did notice an error on the cover sheet yesterday, late yesterday, of the bills on page 5A. At the end of that first paragraph, there was a typo. The final total should read $18,483.86. And that would match the final total in the bills on page 5F. The bills and financial statement are correct. However, the cover sheet had the error. Other than that, October was a pretty standard month for us. I didn't really see anything that was noteworthy, but I'm happy to answer any questions and I guess ask for, I don't know if we need to amend the minutes or the cover sheet or what, but ask for your approval.
We'll just note the change to the cover sheet as part of the record. And then otherwise I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So move.
Moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gordy. Any other discussion or questions? Peggy, roll call, please.
Earl,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Gershman.
Yes. Item 6, Police Department activities, training reports, and correspondence packet. Assistant Chief Zeps. Pat, you need to put your microphone on.
You know, I always watch everybody do that, and I'm pretty good at it, so that might be my first. I had a great introduction there that you messed up.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to repeat it.
Really not much of noteworthy in this month's activities, typical gamut of mostly virtual meetings. I'd like to give a little bit of update on the COVID. We still attend the community meetings that are bi-weekly at this point. Those have been really, really helpful to see what's going on in the community with other agencies and departments and schools and churches. To date, we've had 4 positive cases in the department and several quarantines. I would like to say, though, that as we've lost people to quarantines, we've been able to get others back who've recovered. So as of right now, I think we're sitting in a very good spot. And I think what we're doing is working as far as the distancing and the masks. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So Pat, are you fully staffed right now, or are you still a little short on shifts?
Shifts are just, well, it depends on if you're talking about short as related to COVID. Yeah, we've got 3 out in quarantine right now.
Okay.
I believe it's 3.
Okay. Any questions on the activities report of the police department?
Oh, thank you, Pat.
We'll receive and place on file. Thank you. Item 7, approve hiring a patrol officer, Brody Erickson, effective 11/9/2020. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Is there, let's see, any background we could get on that, Pat?
Absolutely. Be happy to give you a little bit of background. Brody comes to us. He's actually a 2012 graduate of the Marshfield High School, so he's local, wanted to come home, graduated from the Fox Valley Technical College in 2014, and comes with us with nearly 5.5 years of experience from the New London Police Department, where he was serving as a detective in the drug unit. So did outstanding throughout our process. His experience is going to be well welcomed here. We're happy to have him, and started Monday, and everything's going to go good. So, and with that, why don't you lead on in? I'll have Brody say hi. I got him right here.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm Brody.
Welcome home, Brody.
Thank you. Feels
Glad
good.
you're with us. And
Yes, thanks for coming back.
yeah,
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
that's awesome. Thank you. So I have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and do if no other discussion, let's go ahead and do a roll call, Peggy.
Earl,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Gershman.
Yes. Item 8, accept resignation, retirement of lead officer Stephen Meek, effective November 4th, 2020. Pat, could you talk a little bit about Steve's background, years in the force? And I know he was very important to the department in terms of training new officer, developing curriculum, just really an amazing guy in terms of what he added to the department. If you could just reflect on that a little bit.
I'd be happy to. Yeah, Steve leaves us with 29 years, nearly 29 years of service. I had the pleasure of working with him in my entire 23 years here. Unbelievable resource as far as knowledge. If there was a question about traffic related law, you either asked Steve Meek or you called the State Patrol. That's pretty much where we were at. So some of the things he served in were field training officer. In fact, he was my first field training officer. He coordinated the field training officer program. He was a crisis negotiator, range instructor, and that just is a couple of his few assignments. One of the things I'd like to say about Steve is one of the things that always impressed me was his unwavering ethical standards, just really second to none. And he's going to be a tremendous loss for us. And all we can do is work to try to regain some of the knowledge we're going to lose with him, but an outstanding career and pleasure working with him.
I'd like to add that he is or was particularly effective at catching people with no front license plate.
And we need people like that in the force, Andy.
I know.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but you are correct.
I had nothing but positive contact with Steve, and I've passed up several opportunities to do a ride along with him. I regret that, but I've always had very, very positive contact with him, and I know he has been an asset to the department, and he's going to be missed.
For sure. With that, I would like to entertain a motion to accept his resignation, retirement.
I move to accept his resignation, retirement with regrets.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Let's do a roll call with that, Peggy, and we wish the best for him. Long, healthy retirement, and hopefully he won't make himself a stranger, Pat.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Earl,
Yes.
Mead,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Gershman.
Yes, thank you. Item 9, approve request to hire replacement patrol officer. That's it.
Yes, with the retirement of Officer Meek, I would like to seek your approval to replace that position. One of my main objectives right now in the department is to keep our staffing as good as we can with COVID and some of the staffing shortages we've had over the last 2 years. So with his retirement, I would seek your approval. With that, I would move on to the next step of seeking the approval of the Finance, Budget, and Personnel Committee. So I'll look for your approval to replace Officer Steve Meek.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve replacing Officer Meek.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I have a question for Pat. Pat, do you have a list of potential hirees?
We do. There are some potentials out there that we would reach out to. And then I actually spoke with Amy Krogman of the HR department, and we'll probably look to, at some point in January, establish a new list, because our goal was to establish a list every 6 months. So
Okay.
hopefully we can draw from who we currently have. If not, we'll seek to get on that right away in January.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Get a good one, Pat. Item 10, fire department activities, training reports, and correspondence.
Sure, I just have a couple of things I'd like to touch on. On page 10B, you'll notice several of our firefighters attended a driver operator aerial class. This was for state certification. Happy to announce that all of our members passed the course and the final exams, so they are certified driver operator aerial personnel. On page 10D, you'll notice 3 shifts attended extrication training with AutoX. Our members had a chance to demo some battery Jaws of Life units. This is something a lot of departments are moving to, something we may be moving to in the future. So that was a good training for us to have. I'd also be remiss, and this wasn't in the activities, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the hard work for Fire Prevention Committee during Fire Safety Week. Obviously with COVID, things were a whole lot different than what we're used to. We couldn't go into the schools and do what we usually do. So we had a meeting to decide how we were gonna convey our public education message. This year's message was serve up fire safety in the kitchen. Our committee grabbed the bull by the horns, for lack of a better words, and came up with this idea to make a video and promote it and send it out to the schools. And they spent countless hours, I mean, a lot of hours, put a lot of time into this, and it showed. The video was great. I believe it was forwarded out to the commission. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I especially have to thank 4 people who put in the majority of the time into this. Relief Lieutenant John Altman, firefighter Hannah Patterson, firefighter Matt Wolf, and firefighter Anthony Halloran for his tremendous acting skills. We shared this video far and wide across the city. I even shared it with the state Department of Safety and Professional Services, and we got a lot of positive responses back. So I just want to say I'm really proud of them. They didn't miss a beat. They took the project on and just ran with it, and it was awesome to see. Really, really cool. So I got to thank those guys a lot. Other than that, I guess I'd like to provide a COVID update here at the department. It's gonna be a little longer than Pat's. We had some stuff happen last week, so we currently have 4 personnel out on COVID leave. 1 is due to return on the 15th. Last week alone, we had 3 positive cases. Possibly the first person affected the other 2. We're kind of trying to do our own contact tracing here, but the potential is definitely there. In addition, we have about 20 staff that is currently quarantined per Wood County Health Department. So being first responders, we can still work under quarantine as long as the employee doesn't have symptoms. So we're still encouraging employees who have symptoms to stay home. We don't want them here. We're trying to reduce the spread. So with everything that happened last week, with all these quarantines and positive cases, we did implement an emergency staffing plan. And I did send that out to the commission last week, or this week, I'm sorry, as well. That was implemented as of yesterday. And the plan is just to assure we're providing staffing levels to meet the operations of the department and to assure our citizens and community are protected. This will remain in effect, I guess, until we feel we're out of the woods with the outbreak we've had here at the station. And as people come off quarantine and return to work from being positive COVID, we can at that time, take the plan out of effect, and I guess, and re-implement it as needed. So, hopefully things tame down here a little bit for us. Like I said, we are continuing to do our own internal contact tracing. Wood County is just inundated. They don't have the resources to even do that. So I gotta commend Steve. He's doing a great job calling around, checking on people. He's kind of been leading up this whole COVID thing within the station and for our department. So thanks, Steve. Other than that, we continue to sanitize the station and all apparatus. Ambulances are being done daily. If they do come in contact with a COVID positive patient or a COVID-like patient, we are sanitizing that immediately when it returns to the station. And unsurprisingly, our crews are noticing a significant uptick just in the community as far as transporting COVID patients. So we continue to check temperatures every morning and every afternoon. Protect ourselves by social distancing. We are strongly pushing the masks right now, especially upstairs. Masks are required to be worn at all times except when you're alone in an office, alone in your dorm, or eating. So strongly pushing the masks. We believe they are definitely working. We haven't had the spread like I think we could have. As far as PPE goes, at first it was a challenge, but we're well stocked. Steve's been doing a great job of keeping us stocked up on PPE. So Steve, I don't know if you have anything to add to what I've mentioned, but that's kind of our update right now.
Yeah, thank you. Two quick things. One, and think about it when you put the update together, we have been doing a few transports out of Marshfield to other facilities. Just like we talked about a while ago, being a possibility, just due to the overwhelming numbers that the hospital has up there right now. And then the other thing is I sent an update out, I think a couple of weeks now, but helping the health department do some testing that was finally all approved. And this last Monday, Lori Panzer, our administrative associate up front, and myself spent 2 hours at the fairgrounds helping the health department do testing. Went very smooth. Personally feel very safe with the amount of PPE on and people in their cars wearing their masks. So it went very well. And we continue right now to plan on doing that every Monday from 9:30 to 11 through the middle of December, with the possibility of it being extended if the health department's grant gets extended. That is no cost to the department. As anybody we hire off duty, the health department will be reimbursing.
Thanks, Steve. Other than that, our packet includes monthly statistics, some really cool thank you letters and drawings from Annual Lutheran Kids and other correspondence. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions and ask that you place this report on file.
I have a couple of questions, of course. So the health department grant, that's not a National Guard event. That's a Wood County. And do you know where the testing for that is being conducted?
There's a courier that comes from Gold Cross and takes it back to Appleton, I believe. I can find the lab that they're using. I have it in an email and forward it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, no, and it's a molecular test, obviously, so it's a PCR test, so it's a very sensitive test. So the department is that something you've considered using for more screening within the department or encouraging that, or is that not something you've considered?
No, we definitely could. I would have to talk with the health department. I know they have a limited number of tests, and right now the way they're doing it is they are scheduling appointments. Mm-hmm. They are doing testing, I want to say 5 days a week around the county. Mondays and Wednesdays are in Marshfield. I know Tuesdays are in Rapids, and I'm not sure about Thursdays and Fridays, but yeah, if we needed more testing, and I did also hear from somebody up at Marshfield Medical Center that basically said if we ever need testing, they can get us in. So I'm starting to find more avenues to get testing as we need.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll look for more volume on my testing rolls then, since you've got that promise. The other question I had about was it with the in-facility potential transmission? Of course, that's of concern to everybody, no matter what your work environment is. Have you identified any particular risk factors or things or practices that needed to be changed as a result of that potential within facility transmission?
I wouldn't say there's anything new risk factor wise. We've always known what the risk factors are. The guys live here for 24 hours. Our biggest concern is when they go upstairs eating. I know a lot of the guys don't eat together anymore. They kind of change up their schedules. So there is some distancing. I just think spending that much time within the station in a 24-hour period, especially since the guidelines were changed to 15 minutes in a 24-hour period, not just 15 consecutive minutes.
Yep, agreed.
And again, we can't confirm. It just the previous positives we've had with the testing done, nobody else tested positive. This particular time, we had a few kind of pop off in the same time frame. It could be coincidence, or it could be that it was started here at work. So not 100% positive.
If I might just add too, Jen, I was in close contact with the first person who was positive 2 days in a row. We were just working together on computers, also on an ambulance, and we were both wearing masks, I can tell you that. And I just went down and got my test and I came back negative. So I really, as you know, I really think the masks are working.
Yeah, CDC yesterday came out with guidance that basically said masks both protect you from giving it as well as receiving it.
Yeah, I saw that too, right.
Which is, a lot of times previous it was more, I'm protecting you from me, but now it goes both ways, which is good to hear.
Right.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your efforts. I know how hard it is to keep essential functions going when you've got sick people. I truly do understand.
We'll work through it.
Yeah. No other choice, right?
Right.
Any other questions or comments on the activities report? We'll go ahead and place that on file. Thank you very much. Item 11, approve resignation of a recruit firefighter, Matthew Travis, effective November 15, 2020.
Yeah, so Matt joined us. Matt's resignation memo, I guess, can be found on page 11A. He submitted that on the 29th of October. So his last day on shift is going to be Sunday, November 15th. Matt was hired on January 15th in 2020 and came to us from the Eau Claire area. He has accepted a position with the Menominee Fire Department, which is obviously near Eau Claire, within 30 miles there. So he said the reason for leaving was to be closer with his family. Matt is very well liked by everybody here at the department. We're very sorry to see him leave. He was a plumber prior to coming to us here, and we've had to fix multiple plumbing issues around the station, so we'll definitely miss that. We do understand his choice for going closer back to family and everything else. And like I said, we're very sorry to see him leave and wish him the best in his future. And we do ask for that you accept his resignation effective November 15th of 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So
Motion.
Yeah, a motion and a second. Thank you. Any other discussion?
I just want to wish him the best, his future endeavors, and appreciate his service to the city of Marshfield.
I'm sure the whole commission echoes that. And the great thing about it is he did get a good start with us, right? Got a good start with us and worked in a great department. So I'm sure he appreciates the experience here, and we're glad that he gets to go home. If there's no other discussion, Peggy, let's do a roll call, please.
Earl,
Yes.
Mead, Myers,
Yes.
Keel,
yes.
Gershman.
Yes. And there is no other business before
Randy.
us. Yep.
I think it would be appropriate that the commission ask that the minutes reflect the commission's appreciation to the work of our interim chiefs and Steve. They're operating at a very difficult time under very difficult circumstances, and I think doing an outstanding job. And I think the commission should in some formal way recognize their efforts.
I
second that.
absolutely, yeah.
I agree.
Great. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a challenging time, just a lot of things going on, and I see a lot of poise and confidence in our leadership staff, and I see a lot of good work being done. I'm just so impressed with what both departments have been able to do under challenging circumstances. So make sure you pass that along to all your staff and members of both departments.
I'd like to piggyback on that, everything Randy said and Andy, and want you to know that we appreciate all your hard work and that you're doing a good job, and keep it up, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 12 is adjournment. As chair, I'm just going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and I'm sure over the next few weeks we'll be meeting, rather than our regular meeting fairly soon, I would think. But we'll keep you all updated as we hear more. So everybody just have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and appreciate all your work. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.